Hello, Gemini Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your June 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. You can watch this horoscope if you are a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Rising in terms of the most accurate horoscope. Generally speaking, I would say that your ascendant sign, otherwise known as your rising sign horoscope, will be the most accurate for you overall. Having said that, if you are a Gemini sun, you will find that this horoscope will pertain more to your life goals and to your career. Whereas you moon in Gemini people will find that this horoscope resonates more for you on an emotional level. Mercury retrograde always already starting for me, and also with regard to your personal relationships and also your property and living circumstances. So, on the 3rd of June, Mercury, which is your ruling planet, will station direct at 26 degrees in the sign of Taurus. So, it will have been retrograde in Gemini and Taurus. And once it's direct in your 12th house, you may have made some pretty big changes on a personal level. Maybe you will stop being so busy just in day to day life. With Mercury being retrograde, this is when we can have a lot of people contacting us. We can be socializing a lot more or speaking to people who sort of come out of the woodwork. But when Mercury's been retrograde through our first house, we may have made changes to our physical appearance. And on a different level, with Mercury having been retrograde in your 12th house, you may have picked some sort of art project back up, which you had pushed the pause button on. Maybe you'll be getting back into playing music. And for some of you, you may have started meditating again, or maybe even pulling tarot cards or focusing on astrology. Now, on the 4th or the 5th of June, depending where you live in the world, Saturn will station retrograde in Aquarius at 25 degrees in your 9th house. And Saturn will be retrograde there for 5 months until the 23rd of October at the end of the year. So essentially, Saturn spends about 5 months being retrograde every year. So it's not really a big deal, but I do like to flag it because you may encounter certain obstacles or roadblocks with regard to travel, education, and for some of you, you could just be going back to relearn the basics or the foundations of a certain thing that you are studying, or you could be restructuring your university degree or your college degree, or you could be making some big changes to the foundations of your learning as it is. So, just as an example, maybe you are switching from doing an in person course to an online course, or maybe you're changing your major or what your thesis is on, or something which is basically going to have a big impact to the structure of your education. Now, on a different level, you could be reapplying for a visa or for permanent residency or citizenship in another country. Maybe you have to restart the process, or maybe you're already engaged in the process, but it's going to take you a long time, maybe even 5 months, for you to be successful with your application, or maybe that's the waiting time to hear back from them. Now, on a different level, with the ninth house being connected to your belief systems, just, across the board, these may be restructured at a fundamental level. And this could pertain to whether you are religious or not, or spiritual or not, or this could be about your political beliefs. Because Saturn rules over the 8th house as well as the ninth house, you could be doing a total 180 with respect to certain things that you believe in. And this could be quite surprising to other people who've known you to be one way or another. Now, on the 11th/12th of June, depending where you live in the world, Venus will make a conjunction with Uranus at 16 degrees in the sign of Taurus, and this is occurring in your 12th house. So, ordinarily, I would look at this kind of conjunction and be like, oh, that looks, pretty dramatic. And, you know, when it's in the 12th house, though, there's less sort of drama around it because it's happening at a subconscious level or at a deeper level. And what I love about this is that the 12th house is connected to self sabotaging behaviors, addictions, fears, our vices. And when we have a conjunction with Venus, which can represent overindulging in things, and Uranus, which is the planet of separation and divorce, there can be like um, this sudden like separation from you and an addiction or a fear. So essentially, you're no longer beholden to this vice or this addiction, or maybe this fear just leaves you, and you're like, wow, I'm not scared of heights anymore, or I'm not afraid of getting into a relationship anymore, or maybe even your um, intimacy issues can just suddenly dissipate. And with Uranus, it's like there's no effort that goes into it. It just kind of happens to you. And it can be like really spontaneous, it can be overnight. Even if you have been um, smoking for, I don't know, 20 years, this can see you just going cold turkey and being like, oh, I hate the smell of it. I'm never doing this again. And then you stick to it. So, this is a very positive time for understanding the root cause of a self sabotaging behavior that you have been exhibiting, and then letting go of that, going cold turkey. Something just shifts on a deep tectonic level for you, and you're like, I don't need this shit in my life anymore. And you just let it go. So, on a different level, if it's not coming to you sort of like from an internal level, this could be motivated by something that your child says, with Venus ruling over your fifth house, or something that your romantic partner says, again, with Venus ruling over your fifth house. And even if you don't have children, or if you're not in a relationship, you making this sudden change to behavior which has been hindering you really and like holding you back could be motivated by your desire to start a family. This could be motivated by your desire to get into a relationship. This could be motivated by your desire to start your own business. Or maybe, there was like a hobby or a passion that you wanted to take up, or a sport club that you wanted to join, and you're like, if I don't give this up, or if I don't stop this behavior, I can't do the things that I want to do. So you could be motivated by something exciting or something fun, again, which would be indicated by Venus ruling over your fifth house. Now, on a different level, Uranus rules over your ninth house. So it could be something that a coach says to you, like a life coach or an influential person, or maybe your father, or it could just be like, something that you read or that you hear, and you're like, oh my God, something just like totally clicks for me now. Maybe you don't want to disappoint someone, and this is the catalyst for a huge change that you are making in your life. And you know what? With this conjunction occurring in your 12th house, maybe people aren't noticing this on a physical level. Maybe something just shifts for you at an emotional level, and you're like, I'm not going to get into relationships if those are the dynamics. Or, I'm going to start making some changes, whether this is like having a proper sleep schedule, or starting to do meditation, and you're actually like focusing on your emotional health and well-being, and then this is going to hold you in good stead to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Lastly, with this conjunction, before we move on, actually two things. One is that you can receive like a sudden download of information as represented by Uranus, which is the planet of divine knowledge. So, you could have a download of information where you have like a whole concept for a book that you want to write, as shown by Venus ruling over the fifth house. Or maybe you know what you want to do with your business. Or maybe you have a really cool idea for starting a new business or a new artistic project or a music project. And then lastly, with this conjunction occurring in your 12th house, for those of you who have felt romantically tethered to another person, whether you are in a relationship with them right now or whether this is someone that you used to date, or maybe you just had sex with them, a sexual relationship. It could have even have been a one night stand and you just feel really connected to this person and you don't want to be anymore. This point in time, which once again is around the 11th/12th of June, presents an amazing opportunity to do a cord cutting ritual. And you could do this in a simple meditation. There's plenty of them on YouTube for free. My favorite meditation YouTube artist is Pura Rasa, for those of you who may be wondering. And basically, you can cut the cord with this person so that you're not thinking about them anymore. You're not obsessed with them anymore. You're not wondering what they're up to or stalking their Facebook or their Instagram or whatever. And you can finally be free of this person that you have felt really, really connected to against your will. So moving along to the 15th/16th of June, when we will see Mars and Chiron forming a conjunction in Aries. So this conjunction will occur at 15 degrees in Aries in your 11th house. This conjunction only takes place about once every 2 years. And essentially, Chiron, which is not an asteroid, it is a centaur. I know it's such a weird name. Anyway, Chiron is the wounded healer as far as Greek mythology is concerned. So, wherever you have Chiron natally in your chart, this can represent we have a core wound, a spiritual wound, or an emotional wound. This is like a trigger point or a pressure point, and when people push on that, or when there's like an irritant that gets close to your Chiron placement, we can lash out, we can actually hurt other people. So Chiron also represents the ways in which we are hurting others as well as where we have been hurt. So Mars conjunct Chiron in your 11th house indicates that there is a sore point with friends, potentially older siblings, a community that you are a part of or that you want to be a part of. So we could be dealing with the notion of acceptance and rejection. And this could be within your friendships, or this could be you feeling like you were basically iced out of a certain friendship group or a community. So, let's look at things one at a time though. With friends, this is like to hurt or be hurt by. So just be mindful that around the 15th and the 16th of June, your words are especially powerful and potent. So, on one hand, you can tap into the healing energy of your words and the effect that they can have on your friends. And I'm saying this because the 15th degree in astrology is the Gemini degree. So this is all about communication. Not to mention the 11th house is an air house. So this is connected to communications anyway. So on one hand, you can say something which is very powerful for your friends to hear, or a friend to hear, or even an older sibling. On a different level, this shows that they may be saying something which rubs you the wrong way or which really hurts you. Now, I would challenge you, remembering that I myself am a Gemini rising, I would challenge you to basically try to get to the root cause of why you feel triggered before you lash out at this person or before you cut them off. Because where we have Chiron is where we can be a little bit, overly sensitive, to put it bluntly. So, with the sign of Aries just as itself, this is about our physical needs, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It represents our survival instincts. It represents what we need on the most basic level to survive. So because this is a um, almost like a physical issue in a social context, I can basically analyze this and say, well, what are your physical needs in the friendship? Do you literally need space from this person? Do you need to see them less? Do you need to get back in touch with your own independence within certain friendship groups? Have you lost your independence within a friendship group or within your community? Is someone codependent on you? Are you putting in way, way, way more effort, as shown by Mars, than your friends? And is this something that you need to communicate about? Is this something that can be addressed and potentially healed? In my biased opinion, in this general reading, I'm saying yes, because Mars can represent pain and Chiron can represent healing energy. So when we put these two together, we're either hurting someone or we're healing. So I would challenge you to really dig deep into the grievances that you have with your friends, with an older sibling or siblings, and within your community, and try to get to the bottom of it. Is this something that they're doing to me, or is this something that I'm overly sensitive about because of issues that I've had in the past? Now, certainly on the community level, this can see there being some issues surrounding your sense of belonging within a group or within a community. And for some of you, you may have to do the Aries thing, which is be the first person to step forward and say, hey, this is who I am. And you either accept me for who I am, or we can't have a relationship anymore. With Mars ruling over your 11th house as it is, Mars is already the ruler of Aries in your 11th house. This indicates that, for many Geminis, especially Gemini risings, there is this like pain point with friends because Gemini is such a sociable sign. They want to have friends, they want to be loved, they want to share ideas. But then Mars on the 11th house cusp can indicate this push and pull energy where you want to be fun and truthful and maybe blunt with people, but then we can get hurt in return. So um on a different level, the 11th house is connected to your big dreams and your social media persona or your social media following. So, on one hand, be careful with what you're saying and what you're putting out there at this time, because you do have the potential, or your words have the potential to carry and therefore hurt other people. Um, if you know that what you have said was right and true and you stand by it and other people are rubbed the wrong way by it, that's all right. Again, that maybe that's their Chiron acting out. Maybe that's you being authentic and other people being triggered and projecting that back onto you. So this is also an invitation to not take on undue guilt and hurt from other people who are just dealing with their own issues as well. Now, lastly, with this, I heard this saying the other day, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because it really resonated with me. And that is, rejection is a form of protection. If you are being your authentic self, if you are staying true to who you are, and you're being vulnerable and communicating what your needs are and what you're about, and someone doesn't they don't like that, they're not vibing with your energy, and you experience some sort of rejection from them in any form, whatever that may be, just know that this is like course correcting energy. You don't need that in your life. I'll give you an example, just using myself, right? It's not easy being an astrologer and being a tarot reader when you're not surrounded by people who have the same belief systems as you. And I have definitely experienced people who I thought were really good friends being unsupportive of what I'm doing And even though that was hurtful for me, I'm like, that's okay. This has actually allowed me to pour my energy into relationships where people do value me for what I stand for, what I love, what I represent, and who I am. So I personally have seen rejection as a form of protection for me not wasting my time and wasting my energy. So now moving on to the 22nd/23rd of June, again, depending where you live in the world, we're going to have Venus entering Gemini. Yay, this is awesome. Every time Venus is in your sign, this is when you can be feeling more attractive, receiving more compliments. You can feel more beautiful. You can be indulging in yourself and in your appearance. Maybe you're, getting a new hairstyle, dressing differently, um, maybe just investing in a new wardrobe as well. Maybe you're, getting your makeup done. Obviously, I'm talking about things on a very superficial level, but on a more internal level, you can actually feel more balanced, feel more at peace, feel more at one with who you are, and you feeling happy or joyful on the inside, even if it's just like a little kernel of hope, this can start reflecting on the outside and other people can start noticing this. So, on a different level, this can indicate a new romance forming or even just flirtations beginning. And I'm saying this because Venus is a planet of relationships. It is connected to flirtatious behavior, especially in Gemini, and it rules over your fifth house, which is connected to romance anyway. So, certainly, if you are wanting to meet someone, if you are wanting to get back out there and start dating again, you can, have some success in that department. Now, on the 28th of June, Neptune is going to station retrograde at 25 degrees in the sign of Pisces in your 10th house. So, like Saturn, Neptune spends about 5 months of every year being retrograde, and it will be retrograde until the 4th of December this year. So, it's not a big deal, but I do like to mention it, especially because it is occurring in one of your angular houses, in this case being your 10th house. So this can see some of you, and I would say this is more your Gemini risings and your Gemini suns, walking away from your work, quitting, retiring, resigning, or you may actually have a break from work until the end of the year. Even if you're not, fully walking away from your job, you could be reducing your responsibilities, reducing your hours. Maybe you're spending more time at home, and you could just be having to make a sacrifice when it comes to your working life or to your professional life. And this could be for a number of reasons, but just an example would be to take care of another person. Maybe you've become a parent recently, maybe you have some other duties or responsibilities. Or with Neptune being retrograde in your 10th house, this could see you taking time off work because you have to heal, whether this is physically or, mentally or psychologically. And that could pertain to you, Moon in Gemini people. Maybe um, you're stepping away from the focus being on work if it is to deal with emotional issues or family issues. And I would say all the above applies to Gemini risings and to an extent suns. Now, lastly, with Neptune retrograde in your 10th house, this can see your mask coming off because Neptune represents illusions, the veil of illusion. This can represent there being sort of like a hard to pin down, foggy energy. And with Neptune being retrograde at 25 degrees and 25 degrees being the Aries degree, this can see you removing the mask, removing part of you which was not really easy to identify by other people, and revealing your true identity, unveiling the real you, so stepping into your authentic self. And with Neptune retrograde, the trade-off here is, oh, I liked that this person didn't know that, I was an astrologer, or I liked having my double life so that I could, slip in and out of whichever persona I wanted to present to the world. And again, just to give you a personal example, I started my own business, um, giving astrology readings and tarot readings. And I was doing that part time for 18 months while I was full time in real estate. I didn't tell my boss that I started a new job for obvious reasons. But even when I would meet people, like at a social gathering, if they would ask me, "What do you do with yourself?" I would look at them and be like, do I think that they like astrology? Do I think that they would be into tarot or be spiritual? And if they seem skeptical, I'd be like, I'm in real estate. So this can represent that trade-off energy which comes through with the Neptune retrograde. So certainly a lot of you will be stepping more into your authentic self. Now, lastly, for June 2022, we are going to have Venus in Gemini in your first house, making a sextile to Jupiter in Aries in your 11th house. And this will be occurring on the 29th of June, if I haven't said that already. So, this is an amazing way to end the month and to end the reading, because Venus in Gemini in your first house is already bringing you blessings and compliments and making you more attractive, and you're like able to attract people and opportunities to you, right? Then with the sextile, which already carries the energy of Venus anyway, to Jupiter in your 11th house, this represents your ability to collaborate with another person, to expand your social network, to make more friends, to be introduced to people who have a lot of wisdom to share with you. Or maybe you're really curious about certain people and maybe you wanted to meet someone or some of them, and now an introduction is able to take place. So I just want to say, with the energy of sextiles, it's all about you um, initiating it, or at the very least, acting on it and capitalizing on it. So it's sort of like, um, let's just say that there's an opportunity and it's for you. Okay. You may have to be the person to make the phone call, make the text, walk up, shake the other person's hand. Maybe you can sort of like see the silhouette of the opportunity, whether this is a person, place, or thing, or even it could be connected to resources. And you have to act it out. This person or this opportunity isn't just going to land on your lap. You have to be complicit in the exchange. So, on one hand, this can indicate a collaboration with another person, which can expand your social network, your social reach, even your social media following as well. And maybe they are a very influential person in this same industry as you, or maybe just in general, a lot of people know who they are. And it's kind of like they're above your station. So, just as a very, very crude and basic example, as a YouTuber, if you've got, 1,000 subscribers, that's awesome, good for you. Maybe you want to reach out to someone who has like 300,000 subscribers, and somehow they recognize the talent that you have, and they're like, okay, cool, you can have a shot, no worries. And just so you know, that's how I got onto the Astrolata platform. I reached out to Lada and I was like, hey, do you want me to do monthly horoscopes on your YouTube channel? And after a few months, we teed it up and it all worked out. So basically, you can see how collaborating with another person, even if it's a long shot, shoot your shot. You never know where you'll end up. So on a different level, a person can help you with your business. They can promote you. They can circulate your work. Even if, you've written a book, or if you've, done an artwork, someone can promote it, circulate it, especially because Jupiter represents publications, and then it can reach a very large audience. The 11th house is connected to crowdfunding gains, as in like monetary gains, Kickstarter programs, and basically your community. So you can have people putting in a good word for you, or you can receive like the stamp of approval from a credible person or an influential person. And maybe you're able to raise the funds that you need for, again, I'll use the Kickstarter example, something that you are just starting, but that you need help with financially or in terms of resources. So help can come through the 11th hour. And, I just want to stress that you either need to initiate it or you need to act on a what seemed like a throwaway comment, and it's 333 where I am right now. So this is definitely confirmation of that. So a huge blessing can come to you, Geminis, at the end of the month. You just need to be able to recognize it for what it is, and the sky's the limit. So don't be shy to shoot your shot. So, Gemini, that's all I have for you for June 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I do offer private one-on-one readings as well. So I do astrology readings and tarot readings. If you'd like to book one, please head to the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Gemini, and I will see you guys in July.